Yeah, we are on. Welcome everyone for our next episode of Vibe Thursdays. Today with a very special guest, Laura Brown from Job Stash. We are in
Hello.
the middle of a big hackathon, a first online hackathon in our cities called Vibe Play and Earn. Let me show my screen to guide everyone on what's going on. So you might have heard of the Artisan Fund, where we are empowering everyone to participate of the art of vibe coding, of prompt engineering, as we are calling. And we have just finalized in season five a curation period on Friday. Some of you have watched the showcase. We had great projects there. Unfortunately, we couldn't let everyone in of the 62 great submissions. We only curated five, but now those five projects are going to compete for this total funds of $17,000, almost $18,000, distributed as match funding as they sell those artifacts inside Artisan. And we had great projects for um, preservation of environment through education. We had projects about gaming, as like Tap Ants that sponsored the hackathon as we had on last event. Chatbot built entirely by AI with Windsurf and these kind of tools for helping built by a woman to help women on expecting women on the pregnancy journey. So this kind of impact now is at the hand of everyone. You can build this kind of very impactful things. I love this project. We have projects about art, about music, about generative AI, all kind of projects submitted here. And don't get distracted or confused or mistaken uh, by the quality of the project submitted here, because they were built by not by a team of professionals using hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, they were built by vibe coders like you. So yes, it is possible. And if you want to know how, please follow our calendar of events, Luma Venture Minder. Let me paste that in the chat if you haven't already. Most of you have subscribed, I don't know, but this is going to be recorded. I want everyone to have access to this content where you can subscribe as a builder, as a supporter, or maybe even as a sponsor if you have the bandwidth to donate and sponsor. We're going to find the recording for all of those past events that we had with great people like Naruto, Austin Griffith, Patrick Skinner, and many others that joined us in these Vibe Tuesdays and Vibe Thursdays events, all around the theme of vibe coding for AI, for Web3, for gaming, and many other topics. And as I told, we are in the middle of this Vibe Play Earn hackathon. We are on the seventh day or sixth day, if I counted correctly. And we are going to finish this on this Sunday. So you can prepare your project, you can vibe code it, maybe in the weekend, maybe you started just today, maybe you're hearing about this now. It is still time. You just apply here, request to join. And at the end, on the Sunday, or beginning of the Monday, you are going to come here to this link and you're going to submit your project here to get this created for season six that is about to start next week. Okay. I don't know yet how much of a sponsorship I'm going to get on season six, targeting at least $20,000 again, maybe even more. But this is going to be an effort that I'm going to be pushing day to day, like Laura mentioned in the beginning of this call, like the travels that we're doing and everything. Next week, I'm going to go for New York, trying to fundraise for all. And my goal is to have like $100,000 here for you. I cannot promise that. We are building that together. The quality of projects that we have here also draw more sponsors. So this is the kind of projects that we are building. Okay, this is the context, and this is where everything falls in place. We have now Laura to present her expertise, her understanding on the topic, the point of view on getting hired, on building your portfolio projects, getting started in those industries. This is going to be super relevant for us to have the correct vision, the correct takes for what to do next after we start vibe coding, right? So I'm going to stop presenting and would welcome Laura to the stage to guide to this vibe session.
Hello, hello. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for the intro. Really excited to be here. Obviously, JobStash is a big supporter of Venture Miner. I think it's really cool what you've been building, Mateus. For context, so my background, I'm not technical, but I was really excited to come and join like the Vibe Thursdays, just because in terms of my background, my whole career has been in talent. So initially, I started my career working agency side in like technology transformation, working with banks, traditional finance, probably the complete opposite of AI and Web3, like very traditional institutions. I then moved kind of into payments and working with early stage startups and scale ups, and working in-house directly with founders, helping them scale their teams. Like one company I worked at, we went through 15 acquisitions in 2 years. And I was heavily involved in a lot of the hiring process as we went through that. And ultimately, I've ended up in crypto. And essentially, I love kind of hiring and talent and just, I guess, how you build a career. I love that side of things so much so that I ended up joining JobStash as a late stage co-founder in November. So I'll go into a little bit of detail around JobStash and what it is. But I really wanted this session to be more interactive. So I already saw there was a question, but genuinely, like if there are things I'm talking about and you guys have questions, just fire them across. Mateus, if I'm talking about something and you think it's interesting,
I guess, Sergio, you had a question before. So, Laura, just to explain what's going on, people would raise their hand here sometimes. They can post in the chat and all. But if you want, I can filter those questions as they come in the chat and let you know when
yeah, that would be cool. Because basically, the lens that I look through. So I've done a lot of kind of contract work with early stage startups, making decisions around hiring. I've been hiring in crypto for a number of years. And with JobStash, essentially, we are a job platform where we use our own technology to verify that an organization is real, to verify that where they're posting their jobs is real and legitimate. We verify everything, and then we aggregate and pull that data into our platform. So I'll share JobStash after, but essentially, if you're looking for a job and you go to JobStash, we've already done the work of verifying everything. So emerging markets and like Web3, AI, crypto, where there's innovation, it will always attract a lot of bad actors and false characters. And social engineering is a real thing. So if you want to apply for roles, you can go to JobStash and know that you've got a bunch of crypto degens who have done the work of verifying everything so that you know at least you can trust the role that you're applying to. So the lens that I'm looking at is A, how do you build a career now that you've got these skills? And B, what should you be watching out for? Because the hiring market and the kind of talent market in AI, Web3, and crypto, it definitely is different to traditional markets. So, the technology that you're learning is the technology that bad actors are learning as well to try and get around things. So I can give you lots of tips and tricks. And even like even practical things like from a CV standpoint, how do you showcase your skills? Because again, it's completely different to Web2. So yeah, I don't know, there are a few questions. Should I just run through the initial ones, Mateus?
Yes, Sergio had a question, but he messaged me directly. But if you want to stop and ask about like the background of the participants too, any early questions? Sandy's asking about the JobStash. Maybe you want to present JobStash. What is the website about, the proposal?
Let me see. I will open it up now.
Okay.
So I've just shared the link in the chat. Just waiting for it to load.
You want to share your screen now, Laura, or waiting for questions?
Conveniently, when I shared it, my screen froze, so you've got to love technology.
Yeah. Joffrey, you had a question with a hand raised. You want to ask it while Laura prepare her screen to share?
Okay. My question is about how the market in Web3 is, or the market is looking for every background. Example, in my background is more business development, but I have learning a lot of about technical skill like agents and Solidity, programming. Then I've seen I in the space where maybe some loose in the space because I don't know if I fit um, in any jobs. Okay, yeah, I try to understand if the market is looking for background like mine.
I would say so like Solidity is in like smart contracts and protocols. Yeah, cool. They I would say so in sort of AI, Web3 and crypto in general, it is an emerging market. So this is one thing that I've noticed compared to well, it's just the reality. Most projects, there's a disproportionate amount of projects that are early stage compared to, say, like traditional tech or traditional finance. So 9 times out of 10, like most projects are very, very early. And that is a really good thing because it means if you can utilize anyone's skill from any other industry, like that is amazing. So I don't know which area you carried out business development in. I did business development as well, and that was for marketplaces. So I learned a lot about like payments, and then I used that to transition into something else. So if you are moving, say, from a non-technical industry to a more technical role, 100%, or any industry going through a pivot, I genuinely view that as like an add-on because that person can bring that industry or that market expertise into the project, and then they can use that to create a technical solution. So if I were you, I would 100% target projects or orgs that are creating solutions that would be delivered into the industry that you came from. And then you kind of pivot with an add-on, like you pivot with a strength. Does that make sense? I don't know if that sounds a little crazy, but like, so say if you have business development experience in, I don't know, like healthcare, then I would find roles that are utilizing like AI or building or using blockchain to deliver a solution for healthcare, because then you can bring like you might bring like regulatory knowledge, but you will bring some sort of knowledge to that project and they will benefit from it. And ultimately you will be able to help them be more creative with so like designing solutions. And that's what everyone needs because everyone is early stage. So I would say genuinely everyone in AI, Web3 or crypto, most people have pivoted in the last 3 to 5 years. You've got the people that have been in there, like the early adopters that have been in the industry since forever. Like you will always have early adopters in tech, but the masses that are still entering the market, like that's still happening. So, and the only way the industry will expand is if more people enter. So I would say in general, like people want new talent to enter the space. Bye, Matthias. But it's like people want, we want people to enter the space because it's good for the space. So yeah, I would say, and then again, to your point, so yes, it's a benefit. Use it as a way so that you've got an upper hand and target projects where almost like if there's a Venn diagram, you would win the overlap. And then I'm speaking specifically around crypto and decentralized projects. But typically in Web3, what people look for is impact, community involvement, and contribution. I was a contract recruiter for like 5-6 years. And for me, my personal opinion is that hiring in Web3 and crypto is very much like a contractor mindset. It's all around outcomes. It's all around what you delivered, what you achieved. I don't think people really care that much around how you did it compared to maybe more traditional environments where they really want to know, like, what is your process? How did you do it? Like, people don't care how you're going to do your job. They want to know the outcome that you have. And they want to know the impact you'll have around the people, the impact you have on the people around you. So one project that I'm hiring for at the moment, very early stage, 10 people, they're like a year and a half old. Every engineer that we hire, even if they're a perfect individual contributor and they can build the best code, if they can't help with collaboration, communication, and if they can't help the team build their wider, broader solutions, we will not hire them, because we need people that can operate outside of a box. And again, for me, I think it's just because every project's early stage. So genuinely, any skill you have to offer as a human, communicate that because it is useful. It's really the reason I love crypto is because it's the first time where I've been able to use just weird, random, obscure skills, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I hope that addresses that. And if I can be more specific as well, I would say in crypto, I'll show you JobStash in a second, but or even AI and Web3, if you are writing a profile, include metrics around outcomes. So it might be built an MVP of a, I don't know, trading bot in 1 week, which resulted in XYZ. I would always use metrics. I would always use the ecosystems that you engage with. So I would write Ethereum and Solana, and you need to help the person visualize which area of the ecosystem you're operating in. And then I would always include the tech stack. So if it's, Solidity, that means you have experience with smart contract writing, which means you have experience with protocols. That's really cool. You might be more focused on API integration and you don't want to do any. So that's just 2 examples of different technical focuses. There's no right or wrong. They just want to know what you prefer to do because they're looking to fill a gap in the team. And if you are vibe coding, for example, I think the one thing that would be really helpful is to communicate. The one thing that would be helpful to communicate is your process and your approach to how you are going about it, because then they can understand how you think. So I would explain maybe the why, the strategy, the approach, and what you wanted to achieve with it. And then maybe metrics for success and how you came to that, because then you can be a driver, but you can use AI to be a driver. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Laura, maybe highlight people are using AI to recruit too, and people are using AI to code and stuff. Highlight how to stand out in this crazy AI bubble we ask the AI we give some bullet points to the AI creates the email, then the other part of the person uses AI to summarize the email back to bullet points. This whole back and forth of information. How candidates should see that? Should they be afraid of that, or should they embrace that? What are your takes on this?
So I was having this debate with someone. I initially was very anti-AI, and I was one of those people who was convinced it was going to take everyone's job. Also being non-technical, I felt very threatened. I now have changed my opinion. I think AI will transform how we showcase the same set of skills. So if you are creative, maybe historically you did it one way, then you'll do it another. When it comes to recruitment specifically, I really like AI because there's actually two challenges. There's a lot of AI tools now where say instead of searching across LinkedIn for a profile, you might buy a tool and it aggregates all of the professional profiles on every platform. And then you have a problem of, well, now I have 50,000 candidates who could be relevant and I have to filter through them. So AI in hiring is great because it helps you from a sourcing point of view. It helps you capture more profiles, which means that, on all of your professional profiles, make sure that you're writing specifically what you're doing. If you have experience with, agile methodology, write Scrum ceremonies, write every single variation that you could every single possible variation of like the concept that you could use to communicate that skill. So it's captured by everything. So AI is really good for widening the funnel. And it's really great for candidate experience in the sense of, I think you should personalize every message, but it just helps you move through everything really quickly. So you can find more relevant candidates, you can engage with them faster, you can respond to them faster and give them an update. I worked all through lockdown and recruitment, and the number of candidates entering the market, it was like at one point, I think like 7 to 8 times, and then they cut all the recruitment teams in half. So it was impossible to respond to everyone. So it's just, I think it's important that everyone is communicated with. So I think it's good from that point of view where every single person can get an update. The challenge is there's also a lot of fake profiles. So you might have to jump through more hoops to get hired because people they want to verify that you're real. So that's one thing that I've noticed. I don't know, Matthias, have you noticed anything from your side, like when you're, I don't know, viewing people's profiles and assessing online?
For example, we look up to top voices on LinkedIn to see what they're speaking, and they have a lot of engagements and all. Okay, this used to be like a hot thing 5 years ago, 3 years ago, of course. But now, 99% AI generated, the posts is AI generated, the comments are AI generated, maybe even the likes are AI generated, the messages. So most of us rely on LinkedIn for hiring. People apply to a lot of jobs in LinkedIn too, and all of those platforms are getting flooded, social networks are getting flooded, and it seems like everyone should return to meeting face-to-face, which is not scalable. Also, we have more fuel to the fire. Remember about the I forgot the name of the sheeting tool, Interview Coder, that now is raising more than $10 million. Remember, maybe let's speak about that too. How vibe coding can be cool and how for you to stand out, but how this might be destroying $1 trillion industry on hiring, right?
Yeah, I think how transparent can I be? You know, I've got a lot of opinions about LinkedIn.
This is the place.
And these types of things.
If everyone is concerned, they're going to throw like digital tomatoes at you.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's a great platform. I know it inside and out. I've used it for years, like all of their business tools. There are 100%. It's written with, well, it's every professional profile, every professional platform. Sorry, it's not fair to just name one. It's just a problem that exists on the internet in general. Yes, there are scam profiles. I have interviewed these people over, at least 2 scammers over the past. Yeah, well, I love potatoes, so yes. So I've interviewed 2 fake scam candidates over the past 2 months. As in, they had like the fake filter. They had they were recording our voices and then responding using AI in real time. And it took us a minute or so we knew something was weird. So we didn't ask them, put your hand in front of your face. It was really odd. And we thought the connection was off, but then they basically started, it was clearly like ChatGPT or something, just responding because it didn't stop, it was irrelevant. And then we noticed that their lips were not aligning with their face, and we realized it was a phone filter. So this happens from a candidate point of view. People also do this with job applications. So the fact that you have, it's a huge problem. And so there's 2 different schemes that, there's lots of different schemes. People might try and join a company to then leave a backdoor, drain a fund, or they might just join, I don't know, for all sorts of reasons. So it is a real thing. And from a candidate point of view, but if you are in Web3 AI, now that you've completed this hackathon, potentially you may be contacted. So say if you want to apply for a job in crypto or Web3, you might be contacted by someone. They will reach out on LinkedIn. They might reach out on Twitter because the internet's more casual now. Telegram. Sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's not. So they might reach out on LinkedIn. They will offer you a job. It's often 30 to 40% above the average banding. It's really exciting. They're often very keen to move you through the interview process. Jump on a call. You get on the call, something's wrong, they send you a new link. And then you're usually so focused on the interview, you don't realize that when you've hit, oh yeah, enable video, it's actually come up in a weird format, and it's a fake link. When you enable the video, you're actually accepting malware, and then they get into your computer. So that happens. I almost responded to someone inviting me to be on a podcast when I first got connected to JobStash, and I was really excited. And I was like, this is great. And then I took another look and I sent it to a friend, and it was 100% a scam. But I genuinely almost responded because I was so excited. So that happens. And sometimes it is not always in the first interview. Sometimes it's for the purpose of getting KYC information, and they will onboard you and get your HR details. So identity theft is something very common, or, you know, that is a real risk as well. So the way you combat that is just, if someone contacts you, it is completely normal to say, can you contact me directly through the company account? That's very normal. You work in an emerging market. The right company will respect you for doing that. And if someone's headhunting you, they want to speak to you already. So I always, if someone contacts me now, sometimes I ask them to contact me through like their official Twitter account or something like that. I'll show you guys JobStash, but basically JobStash, so like I shared before, we use our own, JobStash is a solution built on Veri, which is essentially like our verification technology. We verify all of the data, all of the organizations, that they're real, and then we basically pull all of those jobs into our ecosystem. So no one can go to JobStash and apply and post a job. We basically verify it, and if we think it's true, we show it. And then if you want to be included, you can put in a request, and then we'll go through the process of verifying the data. If we can't verify it, we won't include it. So if you want to apply for jobs, but you don't want to just like, you know, apply on random AI websites and things like that, then you can go to our platform, search for the company, and if it's there, you know it's, you know, a real link. Let me show this to you. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, it's loading. Just to explain the context of the problem here, people. Most of you have crypto, right? Or heard about this, maybe touched about this on the past workshops. These people are asking you to download like clones of Zoom and any kind of software, sometimes even Slack, Discord and all, to install malware to steal your crypto. Sometimes you just have like $10 sitting around. They want those $10 and they're going to go through big efforts to do that, and, you know, in fact you. I don't even like to use Zoom anymore just because of that, because of installing something on your computer might be dangerous nowadays, especially with those vibe coding tools and also. So this is the kind of pain that JobStash is solving, right, Laura?
Yeah, and it's like it is completely normal to just, if people send you links and chats. One of the candidates that I interviewed, we knew that they were a scammer. They tried to send me a link and they said it was like a portfolio of their work. Yeah, I'm just reading Asante's, yeah, that's insane. So like people will try and do stuff like that. But if they send you links and chats, don't open it, and just say, look, it's my blanket policy. I just don't do that. For me, I use Google Meet. I hope that's legit. And then on LinkedIn as
Laura,
well.
Can you elaborate about the portfolio link, please? Because I have received, I've always used my Google Meet link, but I mean, portfolio links, they've sent me quite a few.
They send you?
Yes.
So are you a hiring manager?
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, what I would do, see, that is such a difficult one. What I would do is I would say, do you have a portfolio? What is your official, so I do this all the time for GitHub because I have to screen engineers. Get their username and say, where is your portfolio hosted? So say if it's Dribbble, say if they're a UX UI designer or a motion designer, Dribbble is a platform where a lot of people will showcase that work. Just say, look, yeah, just reading that. Yeah, I would say find out where they're, find out the username, find out the platform, and then you go to the safe links yourself. it's like I treat it exactly the same as like, say, if you get something like a text from your bank and it's fake, I then will call my bank directly and say, look, are you trying to contact me? I would never use them as the pathway to access the sensitive information. And
how about when they send their own personal website, which
yeah, I mean, that's a hard
portrays their portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, so I have opened them if I've spoken to them and I've gauged. If I haven't met them, I typically don't. But like from a practical standpoint, I have in the past. I would say if someone's sending you a portfolio link initially and you haven't met with them, I'd still try and screen it. Or even if you can like open it on a separate device that just isn't connected to your personal stuff. So even if you have, like a work laptop where everything is just separate, but say, if you have crypto, or say if you've got, I don't know, stuff, and say if you've logged into your bank account and it's stored on your web browser, just like in the history, I'm super paranoid. Like I will never open any of those links on a device that's ever accessed anything personal because I just don't trust it. I don't know if that's practical, but
what measures will you take if you think that you have clicked on something suspicious? What measures will you take after that? How to make sure?
Good question. I actually had this the other day and I worked out it was my security software. So if you think you've clicked on something suspicious, I would, again, to be honest, I would message David, like the founder of, he's my co-founder. He's the founder. He's super technical. I message him all the time if I'm paranoid. So I always message someone technical that I know if I have access to that. Close everything down immediately. I don't know if it would help to disconnect from Wi-Fi, but I usually just close everything down immediately. I don't click on it, and then I just delete everything. I actually did have someone hack me about 1.5 years ago after my phone was stolen. And once everyone has control of everything, typically it's a recovery process. And then it's just the process of reporting everything. And then eventually you get access over time. But in the moment, close everything down, contact someone you know. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. There's probably more practical technical advice, but yeah, I think that's all there's probably more that you can do, but that's typically what I do. Never respond to anyone on Telegram who reaches out to you randomly unless they've been referred through someone. And then before responding, ask the mutual contact if someone has reached out to you. So I never accept anything inbound. What I have started doing with candidates is asking them for like screenshots or photos of their CV, and then I look at a photo instead of a link. So maybe you could do that and say it's part of the process. I know sometimes with hiring it's difficult, especially if you headhunt someone, because if you ask them to do too much too soon, it can damage the relationship. So yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I understand it. I understand it's like you're balancing being hyper secure with what is practical and realistic day to day. Yeah.
Marta has put a good suggestion for not being hacked. You can have a dedicated machine or virtual machine for these kind of meetings that are not linked to any of your data and all. That's a good suggestion. I have a good trick to people to share before your presentation, Laura. It is 100% security guarantee that you're never going to get your crypto stolen. You just need to do one very simple thing. Don't have crypto. Okay, that's for guarantee. Just kidding. That's the joke. Sorry, I'm not going to interrupt again with bad jokes. That was it. So
you can make as many jokes as you want. I'm not funny, so I appreciate anyone injecting any jokes. I think from here, so also with jobs, so we, as you can tell, like very, very passionate about security verification. I've been hacked myself and I have a vendetta against any false characters. So we basically love emerging markets. The reality is if AI, Web3, crypto is going to scale. We need a safe space. We need a trusted place where people can come and build their careers. And we need it to be aligned with like the technology in that ecosystem. So that's ultimately what we want to create, because we need more talent to enter the industry. So basically with JobStash, we are actually going through a V2 build. So this is the existing site, but essentially all of what you're looking at now is we have the most extensive coverage of the crypto ecosystem. So if you're looking for a role, hopefully, if it's verified and real, we already have it on our platform and we've captured it. We have organized everything in a way that makes sense for crypto, and all of our filters are aligned with crypto. So, and we also have we'll showcase if a job is for experts or beginners. But say if you're looking for a role, you can just either, scan through, or you can search for one. Basically, what you're looking at here is we indicate the level, the kind of business domain that it falls in. We also actually have all of the funding data on organizations in crypto, and we've indexed that and we've verified that. So we can showcase, we basically can show if a profile is funded, if a project is funded, when they were funded, who they were funded by, who their investors are, just so you can look at the financial stability of a project, the seriousness of a project, where they're at, the stage of business maturity. If you want to work for an early stage company, cool. If you want to work for a company that is at Series C and they're now kind of like maturing business processes, cool. That's a really important thing. And you can also click on the tags and just search by that if you want. But basically here are all of our filters. So say with, we are simplifying this. Say if you are interested in
A lot of thought
Ethereum.
going on that filter page, right, Laura?
There's definitely a party going on. We got really into creating lots of filters for crypto, and we thought, how many filters can we create? And now we're like, all right, what do people need?
Been chatting about that. We have a question from Ahmed before you proceed. If you can take one question now.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to ask about the entry level or things that comes from junior perspectives. When you're looking at nowadays jobs for juniors, it's asking about 3 years and stuff like that. So how would you approach that? I mean, for someone who wants to acquire for a job?
Yeah, I would say maybe junior, maybe another way to frame it is like newcomers. So typically if you're junior,
like I'm junior 1 year.
Yeah,
1 year of experience.
I would say if you're hiring for juniors or if you're hiring for newcomers, honestly, and any other hiring managers, correct me if I'm wrong, I always look for attitude, energy, mindset, and is this person adaptable? Can they learn quickly? So I just want to see examples of when have you had to acquire new information really quickly, and what was your approach for being self-sufficient in that process? And if I can understand that, then I'm really comfortable hiring someone. So I would say if you're new or if you're junior in any capacity, like say if you've built a career in one domain and then you're going through one area and you're going through a career pivot, you honestly just want to know, can the person be self-sufficient? Are they interested? Can they collaborate, and can they learn things really quickly? And then if you can provide examples of you doing that in any capacity, typically that is how you get hired. And what you can do is say if you're speaking with the hiring manager and you're interviewing something, say if you're going through the interview process, anything you learn from that interviewer, I would try and show them in real time that I've learned something. So it might be, usually they will tell you about the company. So say if you're going through an interview, it'll be a brief, they might share like a brief overview, like, hey, I'm Laura from JobStash. We run a crypto platform where we verify all data, aggregate that, and we showcase that so that people can apply for jobs in a trusted space. We actually were hiring for a data intern maybe like 6 months ago. And the person we hired, they basically were just curious and they asked us really good questions. And then they helped us think on the call. And then we realized it would probably be valuable if we brought that person on board. So that's how I would approach it. From a CV point of view, I would always showcase where I have maybe moved into a new market or moved into a new area. So my background when I was in recruitment, I was always in technology transformation, but I worked in banking. I then went to fintech and payments for a long time. And I think I did showcase when I knew I wanted to move into fintech and payments more seriously, I did showcase how I had moved into new markets across the course of my career. And then I just told them my strategy. And I think that is how I was able to push into that. Yeah, I hope that helps.
So what you're saying is that to come with a story, like something that interests the hiring manager, at least.
Yeah, it's like it's attitude and mindset and energy. But you do need clear examples. Like when people are interviewing, so I would Google, so Amazon have all of their interview techniques on YouTube. And I genuinely think that they have the strongest interview process. And I always, when I was agency side, I would always recommend to candidates to use them. Literally just Google like Amazon interview technique on YouTube. And then they're super structured. They have like bar raisers who work internally, and those are like super interviewers who are there to raise the bar. And I'm pretty sure they have like coaching and training sessions. But just always make sure you have structured examples. Always try and have 2 clear examples of where you've demonstrated something that would be valuable to the company from each previous role or previous experience, and then just systematically run through that. But yeah, like I would recommend like checking that stuff out because it's really good. But I find it really helpful, and I always recommended that to candidates.
That's interesting. Another one would be nowadays companies, when they put entry level job or anything related to that, they put a lot of requirements. So there's a lot of imposters in the network nowadays. Sometimes you don't want to be one of these guys, but at least that's something that makes you more valuable than others. And it's like a dilemma. Yeah? Like you don't want to be an imposter, but there's a lot of imposters, so they're taking your opportunity. So how do you think we should face that as like non-imposters?
So organizations are advertising entry-level roles, and then they're discovering someone more experienced and hiring them instead.
It's more of yeah, something like that, but it's not only something like that. Sometimes, like if I just check something on Stash, and there's junior full stack software engineer requirements, 3 years of full stack development experience, which is I don't know if that's how juniors should be nowadays, but it's not junior. So I can put that I have 3 years, but that's impostering. So I don't know. Like nowadays, if I put that I have 3 years, I think I have skills that fit 3 years because I've been coding for a lot of time. I have not been in companies. So the question is, if I should be an imposter as well, like the others, or should I just stick with the mindset of just be honest with what you have, and eventually you will get it?
I think if you think your skill set is relevant and you're interested, I honestly say always go for it. Don't blanket apply to like 200 jobs if you genuinely don't have, like I would say if you think you can do the role and it's interesting to you and you have experience where if you got in front of the right person, you think there could be alignment, 100%. The one thing that recruiters always try and do is like with hiring managers, like the reality is it's never going to be a perfect match. And everyone always needs to realign expectations. Junior to one company may not be junior to another. So one thing I've noticed with, Web3 and AI and crypto is we don't necessarily have a standardized blueprint for what the perfect team design is. I don't know if we ever will get there because we're utilizing technology in such a different way to other markets. But yeah, like you're right, junior to one company might be an intermediate to the next. I would like to see the industry standardize things a bit more, just because it will help with career development. Like the first thing you do when you're scaling a company and go through an acquisition is you will carry out like a talent audit to try and help rescale everyone to make sure that everyone's paid fairly, equitably, that all the teams are, you know, that one senior engineer here is the same as a senior engineer somewhere else, to create some sort of structure. But I would say for where things are at now in the industry, there's still a lot, it varies a lot more. Junior, I actually think sometimes it can relate to how quickly they are prepared to advance someone into a leadership role, to be honest. If you've got a small team and you've got 10 people, you may have two back-end engineers, maybe a full stack, maybe a few front end. If you bring on a lead who's going to own the product, you may not have capacity to bring on a few more seniors, because in like a year, they're all going to be knocking on your door to be a tech lead or an engineering manager, and you're not going to have enough people to give them that, and then they're all going to quit. So sometimes junior can just mean they need to match the pace, they need that person to match the pace at which they know they can promote them. That's one scenario. Sometimes they just want to balance the team, because sometimes if you have too many cooks in the kitchen, it can cause more chaos. So they know that it's good to have a balance. Maybe they want to give someone the opportunity to mentor someone else. So it can be for a number of reasons. But I genuinely would say if you're interested and you think you can do it, 100% go for it. Also, with this industry, there are a lot of first-time founders. Most people I work with, not all, but so many hiring managers in Web3, it's their first time hiring. And we're helping them write job descriptions. We're helping them understand what they need. So you are not, it's not a mature industry. It's not like when you go to a bank or a giant tech company where it's like, we need a senior engineer level 3 who's going to fit into this banding. So the way that you feel is also equally what I see with hiring managers on the other side. So hence why I say go for it and bring the right attitude. So yeah, that's kind of my comments around that.
Thank you. That helped me a lot.
Yeah, but just go for it. If you want to go for it, go for it. Like, let the world tell you no, as cheesy as that sounds, because then you might not be right for that role, but then they get a bunch of funding and they're like, oh my goodness, we need to scale the team. And then what is the first thing they do? They reopen. You will look at the applications from the last role that you advertised that is relevant. That's the first thing I do. So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah,
We have a question from Sergel next.
Laura, you mentioned some very interesting things. How about integrity? How do you check for integrity?
and
He or she might have he or she might tick all the boxes, but integrity?
that is a tricky one. If anyone ever solves that, I think for me, it's such a hard one. Like, you kind of just have to get on a call and speak to someone. I look to see at how they speak about past experiences. I look to see if they speak about it positively. I look to see if there's self-reflection. I will never ever hire someone who offers to show code from previous employers or break NDAs, anything like that. If it is not publicly available code, I don't want to see it. So little things like that. Sometimes it can be helpful to say, oh, maybe I can try and show you this work. But no, like that to me says you're just going to break an NDA with us. So I honestly just try and look for subtle cues that help me analyze how they treat people they've previously interacted with and no longer have a obligation to. But it honestly is it's difficult. What else do I look for? Yeah, just like how they speak about people. I do ask people like, what are you motivated by? What are you interested in? What did you learn? What was your relationship like with the team? What do you think of? Yeah, I try and understand their relationships as well. It's hard because it's hard because people want to put their best foot forward, but hopefully if you make them feel comfortable enough, then they will relax and give you honesty, and then you can kind of understand, okay. But I don't know, it's hard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good questions. Francisco, you want to add something too in the sequence?
Oh, yes, thank you very much, Laura, for being here. I'm very glad to see the other face, the non-technical face of Just Us.
Yay! Maybe I can, yeah.
I would like to maybe add a personal opinion about this. The question that someone asked before about how to just get your interview for a position. Something that has helped me to get into there, not to get the position, but to get the interview, even without being the right fit for the role, even without having the right experience, is to have a good cover letter, that where you explain why do you think you are a good fit for that position, why are you interested in working with that company. I think this is useful. I have a question for you. I have some years of experience now as a blockchain developer. I have some good network here in Spain. Some people is telling me, okay, you know people, I might need some Web3 profiles on the next months. What would be your recommendation if I want to be not a hiring manager, but someone who is able to select or to evaluate people to offer them to join a team in a company?
So, as in, not from a recruitment standpoint, or for like referring?
Yeah. For as a little don't know bullet points for myself as a newcomer. I'm not from HR.
Yeah, I think so you would want to be to help in the process of reviewing the profiles.
Yes, selecting them from my network and evaluating if they are the right candidates.
Yeah, I think so from a typically, what is well, I might be wrong. What I usually do is I just try and understand if the environment they're in, if the environment that they're successful in is aligned with the environment they might go into. So, but then in the context of technical development, technical expertise, I guess you can like look at their GitHub or look into their coding. I cannot do that because I'm not technical. So I will often ask technical people I know, like, can you look into their code, their commits and whatnot? Do they look legitimate? Do they look genuine? Also, Web3 or crypto is very community driven. So there's a lot of like DAOs on Telegram. There's people often, they do have a presence on X. So I often try and see if they're part of any mutual communities that I know. And I try and ask around my own network. That in itself is not necessarily a good thing to do, because then it's like good because you verify they're real and they're not a scammer, but then it's bad because then you get an echo chamber and you don't necessarily cross-pollinate talent, because you've got a group of people saying everyone here is amazing. And typically that could be bad in the long term. But I do that anyway, just because the industry is not large enough yet. And there's so many bad actors that I'm more paranoid about that at the moment. We are trying to work on tooling to help. So JobStash has a tool where we can verify profiles, but we do want to work on tooling. We are building tooling to help with that. I would say for you as an individual, if it's people that you know and you just want to get a sense check, maybe just like look into their coding if you can. like what's available open source. If you're interviewing them, I'm a big fan of like pair programming in interview processes and having someone work alongside you so you can see how they operate. I don't really like sending people coding assessments, but I don't mind like the one-page kind of coding tasks if it's very niche and if they're already super invested in the process. Maybe you could try a hackathon with them together. I just had an idea now. But I'm not sure because I'm not super technical. So like Matthias, I don't know if you've got a different opinion.
No, yes, it's helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a good question. And I think we need people to be actively building that skill set because then we can kind of self-verify. But yeah. I hope that's helpful.
Great, a lot of great questions. Ahmed, do you have a follow-up?
It's not follow-up. Actually, it's a question. If I'm following up correctly, your background is not coming from Web3 before. Like you didn't have any knowledge about crypto until you just did the switch in your career. So how was it for you to apply for a job with background knowledge about crypto and Web3? And because I'm a full stack developer, but I have never touched Web3 before. So I have seen a lot of positions with Web3. So I want to prepare myself on how can I approach these jobs. And like, do I have to do like take a full course about Web3 and stuff like that, or just there's some things that helps?
I think so. Good question. So I honestly think so like this. So being part of a hackathon or a boot camp and like community involvement, I see that as really valuable. So like keep being active in the community, keep showing up to things that you like. Always add that at your CV because that shows attendance and interest. I was fortunately approached on LinkedIn, and then so before I went into crypto, I'd spent maybe like 5 years in the payments industry, and then I ultimately ended up with kind of like operating software where they did have a wallet as an option, and then I was approached by a DEX protocol, but they had a wallet. So there was an overlap in where I had worked from like a payments point of view, and the gap for me was my market knowledge in crypto. So if you're applying for a role in Web3, because everyone has to make the jump, I don't know what your current market is, but like what kind of market are you in at the moment? Because I can use that as an example.
I'm more like web and mobile developer. I don't know if you can call that a market. It's Web2.
No, that's amazing. What kind of industry? Just in general.
I just don't get the question. What do you mean by industry? Like,
so say if it's like, cool, no. So I can explain. So say if it is like trading, like say if you work in banking and you built the mobile app for the banking application, or maybe you built like a mobile app for a beauty marketplace.
No, I get your question. Before I was in the cybersecurity company, startup. I was an intern, and they saw just the company through my internship. But now I'm building things for mom and child care or welfare. That's how it's called, and that's currently my industry. I'm working with specialists in mom-child communication, stories, things like that. And we're trying to deliver from idea to code. That's how they are non-technical, so I'm doing this transition.
So that's quite cool. There's actually a lot of parallels between, so a lot of the solutions, so with Web3, a lot of projects are using this type of technology to solve problems that are being addressed with, I guess, like traditional tech or Web2. Cybersecurity is a huge thing in crypto. So I would make that a huge focus. There's so many people trying to build like security protocols and just try and help address all of these security challenges that are faced. And then if it comes to say like messaging or communication, there are projects that are trying to reinvent how you approach that. So what I would do is I would look for mobile roles. I would look by the technical specialism that you have, like maybe search by mobile roles. And then I would look at the types of solutions and the types of just like the area of the market that they operate in. So it could be maybe like a junior developer for a security project. That is probably a place where you would have a higher likelihood of securing an interview.
I just need to mention one thing. I was in a cybersecurity startup, but I did not touch security a lot. So I was in a solutions team, which is very close to the customers. We used to solve things for customers, but not in the security team, because there was a team only for security and no one can touch that in the startup. So we have been doing things by the protocol of the security that the startup has done, but or has stated, but it's not that I touched a lot of security matters, because things like this need those levels to decide. At least in the startup I worked in.
That's cool. So yeah, it's definitely helpful to share which area of the business, which team you sat in, who you're engaging with, like if it was B2B, if it was B2C, and ultimately there would have been some knowledge that you may have picked up. So it might just be helpful to have someone in-house. Yeah, 100%. Any company that you have worked at, I agree with Francisco. I think any company that you've worked at, you will have acquired some sort of information about something that is 100% valuable to crypto and Web3 and AI, because everyone is trying to build something new. So I have just used the most random skills. Like I spent some time in customer success, and I learned a lot about platform monetization, and I learned a lot about checkout process and checkout flow, which I never really expected. And that helped me in another contract when I was helping hire people to build like a universal checkout. And I was able to hire faster, but it was just because I randomly had been around. I wasn't building like the checkout process at all. I just helped solve a lot of challenges that our users were experiencing. So as a result, I learned about how they were using the product really quickly. And then it actually just helped me recruit better in another project. So any company you've been in, you will absorb random bits and bobs. And even just having exposure to that could be really helpful. So I would communicate. I would never sell yourself short. Every company you've worked at, you will have picked up something. So I hope that's helpful. But there will always be, I would definitely focus on your previous markets or the previous areas, and then try and find like a little bit of an overlap. And then I would focus on what you have in common, because the reality is most people will only have like 80% of what you're looking for. And if they want you to grow into the role, maybe they'll hire someone with 70% with the right attitude. So that's because you will always do that. You will always hire the person that's 70% with the right attitude. You'll never hire the person that has 100%, but they're not a team player. So, yeah.
So what you're saying at the end of the interview is just a conversation with someone. So if you have a common background, we'll talk about these things that will make the interviewer interested in you more, and that will tell them that you have more in common.
Because they're just trying to understand it's the value you can bring. So it's the value you can bring. So focus on what you have in common, focus on what is relevant. Don't talk about stuff that's irrelevant. Like take time to read the job. Say if you get an interview, take the time to read the job description, learn about the company, and learn about the stage of business maturity. If it's an early stage startup and you have experience with young teams and early stage startups, don't spend 20 minutes talking about when you worked for a big global bank. Focus on relevant experience, and make sure that is reflected in how you communicate during the interview.
Thank you.
All right, I hope this was helpful.
I have a quick question. How many bad jokes you can do in an interview before they take you as a retarded person?
I don't
Asking
know.
for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Is it a friend called my chance? I think no, I don't know. I like jokes,
I'm just kidding.
but
That's
jokes
different.
during an interview. Now I'm thinking about it.
Matthias, actually, I had an interview that was exactly in the startup I worked in, and there was 2 people interviewing me, which was new for me because I used to have one-to-one interview. And then one of them started making jokes, and I forcefully laughed for the jokes because they were not funny. And then one of the just said, "Man, you cannot laugh for it. It's okay. We're gonna hire you anyway." So
That's nice.
it was like from the other side of jokes.
One thing I didn't mention is I think, like I did say this before, you know, a lot of people in crypto AI Web3, like the early stage projects, a lot of people are doing this stuff for the first time. And sometimes being the best candidate who is super incredible, super important, sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating. So I think just being, again, like sort of like the energy and the mindset that you can work things out together, like that is also really valuable. So sometimes you don't always need to be the best. You just need to showcase that you can build alongside someone else and you can help them get there and you can be a good teammate. Because a lot of people in this industry are working stuff out for the first time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Lord, is there anything specific that you want to show inside JobStash today? Maybe guide them or how to
I mean, I don't want
subscribe,
to, I think it's just like, so say if you jump to JobStash, so you can search by chain. So if you are interested in Ethereum, I would, let me see. I'm curious. I want to know how many mobile roles we have. Waiting for it to load. Okay, cool. So this is for experts. So basically we verify your on-chain. We verify, we've ingested all of crypto GitHub and we basically verify contributions so that we can indicate to organizations who experts are, but also some companies only want their roles to be shown to experts. So this is why we have this. Let's say, mobile engineer WorldCoin. Cool. So, oh, this is a junior role. Maybe you should, although this was 6 months ago. So although this job should still be live because we do remove jobs as they get taken off. So maybe, yeah, I would say like this is a good example. WorldCoin on Ethereum. So yeah, like I would potentially just like apply for this role or like look into it, see if you're interested. Job details, we've got salary banding.
Even if you have no knowledge on Ethereum.
I would say, so Ethereum, I would say you have to have an interest in Ethereum. I think
you should give yourself like a week on Ethereum and then apply for it. You apply it and then start.
Yeah. I would say a lot of it is just honestly curiosity. Like I knew nothing about crypto before I started working at 1inch at all, but I knew I was obsessed with learning about new technology. And I found it really fascinating that I was really excited to recruit for them. So hopefully I learned really quickly. So it's like, if you're interested, give yourself time to learn. And then if you get the opportunity to speak to them, then just say like, I genuinely am interested in what you guys are doing and have really good questions. And then think strategically during the call and the information you learn, use that to then influence other questions. Because the reality is new stuff's being built all the time. So there is no one in this industry that knows everything. And if they say they do, they're 100% lying. So we're all learning together. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm just kind of showing through, but yeah, I mean, just kind of like scrolling, but this is essentially like how you can log in a variety of different ways. And yeah, I think it's pretty I don't want to overload you guys, but it's just if you're interested in applying for roles and you're a bit nervous about clicking on links that are incorrect, just go to JobStash, and then that way at least you don't need to worry about that.
Nice. Sergio, you have another question?
Yes, if I may. Laura, how does JobStash work? I mean, who do you charge and how much do you charge for, let's say, if I want to hire somebody?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So historically, we're essentially a public good. So we were in the Gitcoin mature builders round recently. So JobStash is like what you've just seen. We have a freemium model. We have, so if you're a candidate or you're a job seeker, it's free. What we've been building under the hood is a bunch of tools to serve orgs and things like VC funds too, because they manage ecosystems. So for that, at the moment, we are in the process of onboarding like early stage customers. So that's just getting in touch with the team directly, because we've built it's very early stage, but it's essentially a sourcing tool where you can kind of source across verified candidates and avoid the trap of accidentally contacting a false character. But this is very much early stage, so we're just rolling it out.
Or if I want, let's say, Mateos knows about this. I'm looking for a front-end developer and then maybe one blockchain or one Algorand developer specifically for the hackathon, okay? So I want to test him or her, okay? So depending how he or she performs, I mean, and by the way, if we win the hackathon, happy to share 50% of the fee. But at the moment, my two startups are completely bootstrapped. So the question is, can I advertise this kind of jobs on JobStash?
So if you're a project, so if it's decentralized, yes. So we don't showcase anything centralized. Basically, you would sign up as an org. So there's an option to on the site, I can send it to Mateos or send after, but you basically sign up as an organization, and then we verify you. And if you meet the criteria, wherever you post the job, it can even be like a Notion. So we integrate with Liba, we integrate with a few ATSs to pull directly from there. But if you've just got them advertised on Notion, we have a template. You can advertise there, and we just pull the data in. You don't need to post. We just create it.
I don't really advertise except for a couple of posts on, I believe, on Algorand, Discord channel, etc., etc. But I mean, I'd be interested.
It's free. Like, it's completely free. Our goal is to help people build their careers and to help projects scale safely. You can pay to boost a vacancy. If it's urgent, you can boost it to the top, but to list, it's completely free.
Thank you. And another question I have for you is, at the beginning you mentioned creating a Telegram bot, and actually while you were talking, I was actually multitasking, and I've created the Telegram bot for one of my startups. So the question is, you mentioned it took you a week. Can you elaborate with me why? Did you have all the functionality? How much functionality should I put there, etc., etc.?
You mean to explain what you've built and how you've built it on your profile?
No, for a Telegram bot, trading bot.
To say like to free. Sorry, I think I maybe misunderstood.
Sorry, I think you mentioned in the beginning that you developed a trading bot, a Telegram trading bot. Is it correct?
No. I was no. Maybe I misspoke. I am helping recruit for one.
I see.
So.
Okay.
But no, I wish I could. No, it would be a terrible bot if I did it myself. But
it's not difficult. It's not difficult. With Cursor, it's not difficult, honestly.
Maybe I should. Maybe I will. But I know I've been involved in helping those types of projects. I do try and trade, like day trade myself. I don't know if I'm any good, but I find it really interesting. So I am on Dex.
If you like day trade, I mean, you like one of my vibe coding projects is called Deep Buyer, or from buying the dip. Okay, so identifying, analyzing, and investing in undervalued stocks, ETFs, crypto, and indices. Have a look at Deep Buyer.
Cool. I think make sure that all of that is in your profile as well.
No, it's not in my profile because it's in a very stealth mode. I mean, it's literally my vibe coding project from the end of April, where Mateos taught me, as part of decentralized AI bootcamp. So it's not there yet, but I mean, I'm sharing with selected, people like,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I'll definitely try it out when it's when you are prepared to share it with the masses. So,
Thank you.
yeah. I think, is there any, I know that I've spoken a lot and I've gone over, but is there any, I hope this was really helpful. Like I'm always here.
Very helpful,
Like,
thank you.
I love Venture Miner, so I'm always readily available to jump into any hackathons at any time.
Yeah, maybe people should stay tuned about the things you're cooking, right? It's taking a couple more weeks than expected, but eventually you're going to release something very cool together.
Yeah. So
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I guess this is pretty much it for today. Laura, if you want to do any call to actions, maybe post your socials. How would people reach you if they have questions?
very good.
And links you want to put on the chat too.
I mean, I'm basically, my handle is Laura BXYZ on everything. Should I just share that? Like on, or should I share? Yeah.
How people would contact? We have a lot of people following those remote like recordings later, so they're going to watch the recording. They're going to have access to the chat history. Maybe you want to drop in the chat history your Telegram, LinkedIn, whatever you prefer to be contacted.
I think
Any
what I
call to
will
actions?
do, I will share the, let me see. I will share the community channel for JobStash. Just because, yeah, I'll share it here. It's just if you want to subscribe. So basically we give like daily updates. You can follow us. You can find me on X under Laura BXYZ, and you can follow us and subscribe. We've got all of our links there as well. So you can get like daily alerts. We also have a Telegram bot ourselves. So you can create like a custom job search as well if there's anything in particular that you're looking for, and you can really receive personalized updates. But I think in terms of getting in touch directly, I'm in the Venture Miner community channel. So on the topic of security, if anyone reaches out, maybe just let Mateus know so I know to expect them, or just like message me directly on X. And then I've just shared like our JobStash Telegram channel. All of our social links are there as well, and you can stay updated with what we're doing there.
Post the best memes there too, right?
Oh, we've also got an amazing intern account. Yeah, follow our intern account. I don't know if I should drop that, but it's some incredible memes. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much, Laura, for coming today. Thank you everyone that participated. The questions were great. We are wrapping up today, and see you all for the finals of the hackathon. So I'm eager to see all the projects that you're going to submit, and we have great announcements for next week. Okay, we didn't have it in the calendar yet, but we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff in New York. We have events confirmed with Windsurf directly and many other good partners, and we're going to stream all of that for people that are not in New York. But if you are there, do attend, and we're going to have good pizza, snacks, maybe even a barbecue. Who knows, right? And your satisfaction is guaranteed. Thank you all.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you both.